Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And let's just have a look here and see as a few folks get their notifications. Okay. Nice to have you on. Let's see here who's coming up first. There, you guys. Andrea. You're hard to beat now, Andrea. Mike from Norland, Lynn, right up at the top. Lynn, good for you. Janice, Brampton, Denise, Chatham, Kent, Fran, Orangeville, and Sandy from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Nativity, good morning. Kim, how are you? Rosa from Montreal. Elaine, St. John's, Newfoundland, good morning. Tina, Rainy Harrow. Oh, it's so sunny and warm here today. Madeleine, Kippawa, Quebec. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Carol, West Virginia. Donna, how are you? Park Hill. Diane from LaSalle. Wendy from Markham. Cecilia, how are you? And Darlene, good morning. Saskatchewan. Rain Cloud, Michigan, how are you? Milika, Stouffville, Marine, nice to have you on. Donna, Newfoundland. Gary, Bolton. Jocelyn, just in from her power walk, good for you. Kristen, how are you? Diane, Thunder Bay. Serpa, good morning. From Dowling. Catherine, Arlene, good morning. Arlene's saying hello to Elaine. Cecilia. You guys often say hello to each other, don't you? Sherry, Sue, good morning. From Bolton, Lori from Cambridge. Rita, happy Tuesday. Diana, couple went by, but I didn't even see them, guys. Lise, how are you? Luella, West Tennessee. Nativity. Dorothy, how are you? Veronica, good morning to you. And someone else saying good morning, but I didn't see the name. And okay, let's get going. Yolande, I was waiting for you. There you go. Patricia from Florida. Beverly, Stephenville, and Mary, and Cheryl, Denise. Guys, Francis from Vaughan, how are you? Milika, we love you guys dearly. Okay, so a couple of fascinating stories, or some of it research, and I found these fascinating. Okay, which one do I want to start off with? Okay, fruit. Okay, fruit. So this is Headline Tuesday, okay? I'm going to bring you some headlines, news behind the news, okay? So this new study on fruit, and what have I always called fruit? What do we call fruit here at the Doctors In podcast? God's candies. Meaning that don't live on them, okay? There's a reason for 30 days you don't have any fruit. Am I against fruit? Nope, I'm not, okay? I'm not against it. I just don't like the idea of, yeah, you guys got it, God's candy, okay? And meaning that limited. I'm not saying don't have it. Don't live on it, okay? And here's a study, just came out hot off the presses. We know more now about fruit, okay? One of the reasons that I try and limit it, okay? One of the reasons that I've talked to you about in the past is that fructose, okay, goes immediately without passing go to your liver. and it packs fat in the liver. Now, limited fruit, I got no problem with it, okay? And don't drink fruit. That's one of the biggest things that I've talked about over the years. Don't drink it, okay? Eat it. And you know me, I love berries. They're very good for you. I want you to put them in Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie, okay? That's the only time you can drink any fruit, is when you put it in Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie, okay? You can have a few berries in there. They're good for you. But fructose, okay, like we've always said, sort of makes a beeline for the liver. And today, in the day and age in which we live, with a major percentage of the population walking around and they don't even know it with the Costco parking lot. What? With fatty liver. The liver is gummed up already because of the amount of sugar that we consume and those crappy carbohydrates that turn to sugar rapidly. Okay? And so and the lack of muscle as a storage place, then your body chooses, if you don't have enough muscle, your body chooses your liver and then packs fat in it, because most people, not all people, most people have an unlimited ability to make fat cells. That's why if you look at the population today in North America, 60-70% are either overweight or obese. It's almost incredible. And even skinny people, okay, remember this, because skinny people don't necessarily, they're not healthier. And the reason is because they're packing visceral fat in their organs, and you don't see it. You don't see it. And fructose, okay, especially high fructose corn syrup. I've talked to you ad nauseum about high fructose corn syrup and the antichrist of sugars, okay? Now, back to the study. A new study out shows, you know what the biggest designer drug craze is right now? Ozempic and Wegovy, or Wegovy, or whatever they call it, V, okay? People are always on me. Dr. Martin, we don't say Wegovy, we say Wegovy. I don't know what you say. It don't matter. You know what I mean. Okay? And these are designer drugs that are, they work. Okay? They work in a sense that they affect the natural satiety hormone. And you feel full without eating. You take the injections of these medications. They're called capital GLP-1 medications. You inject them. And they're very popular today because people are desperate to lose weight. I don't particularly like them, okay, to be honest. I don't particularly like them because they come with a boatload of side effects, okay? Now, back to fruit. What this new study is showing is that fruit, okay, suppresses your natural GLP-1 hormone. It suppresses that. So you're hungrier when you eat fruit. You don't get the sense of fullness. You get the opposite according to this study. Okay, so fruit. And guys, again, okay, I don't want people to think for a minute that I don't like fruit. Okay, I really like fruit. I do. I mean, personally, I love it. And I like it because it has a lot of benefits to it. Just that. So that sort of eliminates me as a carnivore. Okay? Because people go, Doc, aren't you carnivore? No, I'm nutrivore. And I think there's room for God's candies. But limited. And I've been saying that for 50 years. And the message is more important today than ever because of what I said, fatty liver. But the more they study, the more they realize, okay, you know, like fruits have their place, but if you're trying to lose weight, be very, very careful with them. Okay? Like, if you saw me as a kid, I loved bananas. I mean, that's why I got long arms, guys. I love bananas. I still love bananas. I love peanut butter and bananas. You? I did as a kid. Okay? But again, we live in a different world today, right? We live in a different world. The world's different. We got high fructose corn syrup. It was invented by man, and it's created a crisis in our world today because people are fattening up on this high fructose corn syrup. People don't even realize it because the food industry, and I hope Robert F. Kennedy Jr. gets to the bottom of it and makes, I would love for him to get rid of high fructose corn syrup in foods. I doubt it's going to happen, but because it's a terrible, terrible fructose. So fruit is nature, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Like I say, just be careful. That's all. Don't live on it. You're not meant to live on it. And they're God's candies, okay? So there you go. There you go. That was one new study that came out. Fruit is God's... Oh, that's my headline. Fruit is God's candies. We know more about fruit today, how it suppresses your natural GLP-1 satiety hormone. Makes you hungry. So take that, guys, and put it in the bank for you, okay? Again, I never tell people they can't have any fruit. 30 days, yes, on the reset. There's a reason for it. Because I'm trying to fix insulin resistance, okay? The reset was created for insulin resistance. It fixes it. It fixes it. And that's why it's so important to understand that. And you're not to have any fruit nor vegetables for 30 days. Can you do it? Of course you can do it. And there's a reason for it. And a lot of people still today, they do the reset for weight loss. It's the healthiest way to do lose weight because you're not you're helping your body to get healthy. And when your body is burning fat as fuel, it's the best thing for you. And your body is detoxing, and your body is taking the fat around your organs and burning it on the fire of your metabolism. It's the best thing to do, weight loss. It's not calories. People think in and out. Yeah, well, you can lose weight. Don't eat. Okay? Don't eat. You'll lose weight. Well, some women, if you got thyroid problems, you can starve to death and still gain weight. Okay? Like I used to tell my patients, just look at food. If they had a thyroid problem, I said, just look at food and you're gaining weight. And they'd start crying. In my office, I had to take the Kleenex and give them the Kleenex. Here. They'd be weeping. Finally, a doctor who understands me. Yeah, well, you got a thyroid, your metabolism, and it ain't working properly. Now, that's not your fault. You know how many thousands of women that came into my office and they say, Doc, I mean it. I just look at food and gain weight. I get it. I said, look at your thyroid. It's not working properly. Oh, but my doctor is saying it was not, my thyroid numbers are normal. I thought it was all between my ears. I said, well, it's not far from your ears. It's just, it's not even, 6 inches, probably about 4 inches from your ears. It's called your thyroid. Yeah, it's sluggish. It's not revving up properly, okay? Now, and listen, Lindas out there, the reset helps your thyroid. Reset the thyroid. What? Yes. When you empty your liver, where do you think the vast majority of T4 to T3 is converted? In your liver. You're emptying your liver. You're lowering insulin. Insulin is a fat hormone. You see what I'm saying, guys? Now, I don't know why I got onto that. Oh, because we're talking about fruit and gaining weight. Okay. Now, remember, okay, when you think of uric acid, okay, and I always tell people this, okay, uric acid, like when people think uric acid, they think gout, okay, which is all right. I can understand that. But I look at uric acid differently. I look at it as a biomarker. Because if it's high, a lot of people have high uric acid, they have no gout. But one of the byproducts of fructose and what happens in the Krebs cycle and what happens in the liver is can elevate your uric acid, fructose. And this is, and like, why does a bear get fat for the winter? They're going to hibernate, right? And what do they do? What does a bear do? Okay? Like my sister used to say, we got so many bears in Northern Ontario, they're buying condos. Okay? And when the berries come out, the blueberries, okay, Northern Ontario, we're famous for blueberries. And I know different regions of Canada are of course, too, famous for those wild blueberries. You know that a bear can consume up to 30,000 berries in a day? 30,000. Holy smoke. But they do it. They use that fructose to pack up fat. Okay? You ain't a bear. So don't, and you're not hibernating. So you don't need to pack up the fat. So that's the memo. Do you get it now? For fructose, they're God's candies. If you treat fruit as God's candies, you get the memo, and you, in fruit, powerful antioxidants, and, you know, especially the berries, and, you know, look, I love fruit. Okay, but, again, we live in a different world. So that was the one study I wanted to bring to you. Let's do one on sleep apnea. Okay, because again, new studies are coming out on sleep apnea. And I want to read you the headline on this headline on sleep apnea. Sleep apnea, the most underrated brain killer in the world. Sleep apnea, the most underrated brain killer in the world. Wow, that's quite a statement, okay? Then this article goes on to say, okay, it disrupts the sleep cycle, so you're not getting into the 5 phases of sleep, okay? What does that do? What does that do? If you don't get into the deep REM sleep and the 5 stages of sleep, okay, sun, steak, steal, and sleep, okay, the book, I talk about this. When you don't get in to the sleep cycle properly, okay, what happens? What happens? And your self-cleaning oven of your brain, doesn't work. I've talked to you about this a million times. When you sleep, not sedated and not sleep apnea, okay? When you sleep, your self-cleaning oven goes on. Remember your brain, okay? Because any place you got an energy center, you're going to have a lot of debris, waste. A lot of oxidation takes place. And you got to get rid of that. You got to clear it out of your body. And your brain has its own lymphatic system called the glymphatics. You guys know this. I've taught you this many, many a time. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. It's unbelievable. Your body has its own self-cleaning oven. Yeah, your liver, when you sleep at night, the night shift comes in to clean up. It detoxes, okay? But even specifically in your brain has its own glymphatic system, okay? Your brain has its own lymphatics. It's fascinating to me. When I was in school, I never learned any of that. I didn't know that. We knew about lymphatics, but we didn't know about the glymphatic system. And we didn't even know that your brain detoxes at night when you're sleeping. Okay? A lot of people think sleep is a waste of time. I only got so much time and I don't want to be sleeping. Well, you have to prioritize sleep when it comes to the brain. Okay? So here's the headline again. Sleep apnea, most underrated brain killer. Why? It disrupts the sleep cycle. Thus, it disrupts the detoxification of the brain, the self-cleaning oven. 2, you have less oxygen to the brain. Less oxygen to the brain. That's very important, isn't it? Okay? Less blood supply to the brain. And That's why the sleep apnea machines, they send oxygen up into the brain while you're sleeping. Okay? You know, I read a statistic even before this article that most people within a year of using the machine, they stop. I didn't know that until I read that article on it. Most people within a year of getting a diagnosis and a machine for sleep apnea, they stop using it. It drives them crazy. They're claustrophobic. It's disruptive. They don't like it. It's bulky or whatever it is, okay? They stop. I'm just telling you, guys. It's like the GLP-1 medications. You know, Wegovy and the other one. Okay? Ozempic. They stop. What? Yeah, a lot of the people stop, even though they're losing weight. They get too many side effects, and so they stop it. And if you stop, your weight comes back. Okay. There I am back on weight loss when I'm talking about sleeping. Okay. And, the area, they've done MRIs, okay, on sleep apnea patients. You know what they're finding? The memory center of the brain is the one that's affected the most when you have sleep apnea. Okay? Now, they didn't even talk about this in the article, but let me talk about it. Because one of the biggest warning signs, you remember that chart? That check your engine light comes on. One of the warning signs of insulin resistance, one of the causes of insulin resistance is often at the root of sleep apnea. Why did we brought you the studies 5 years ago maybe? And I've repeated them every once in a while. The biggest cause of sleep apnea is insulin. And you know what insulin is? It's a growth hormone. It gives you a fatty tongue. What? It gives you a fatty tongue. Guys, I didn't make that up. You might think I made that up. I didn't make it up. I thought you would have a fatty tongue if you talk too much. Okay? Like me. I talk too much. Does that give me a fatty tongue? Not like insulin does. Insulin gives you a fatty tongue. Thus, less oxygen to the brain. Did you know that? And this article that talked about sleep apnea and how damaging it is to the brain, what do they call it? Sleep apnea, the most underrated brain killer in the world. Headline. Now, if you keep reading on the article, they're talking about solutions. They didn't talk to you about food at all. I would. Okay, but this group didn't. They talked about how to help yourself. Tape your mouth shut. When you're sleeping. I'm not kidding you. That's what they said to do. And during the day, practice keeping your mouth shut. I kind of laugh at that. Okay? And breathe through your nose. That's what they're saying. Don't get mad at me. I'm not joking. I find it funny. Shut up. Quit talking. No, they're not saying that. What they're saying is they want you to practice breathing through your nose and not your mouth. Okay? So people that snore ordinarily, they're not breathing through their nose. They breathe through their mouth. Their mouth is wide open at night, right? You ever see someone snoring? Okay? Their mouth's open. And they're saying practice breathing through your nose. And when you go to bed at night, like literally tape your mouth shut. Like I found that hilarious. And, but they're showing again, okay, how serious sleep apnea is. Guys, sleep is so important, okay? And I used to tell my patients, look, if you don't sleep at night, and a lot of people, they just had such trouble, try not to sedate yourself because you're not getting any benefits of sleep by sedation. I'm sorry, you take a sleeping pill. I know people that, we talked about Tylenol or Advil. I know people, actual patients for years that took Advil every night before going to bed. It helped them sleep. I said, well, you're not sleeping. You're sedated. You think you're asleep because you're knocked out. I said, you ever had surgery? Put your hand up if you've ever had surgery. Okay? Did they knock you out? Yep. Were you sleeping? Oh, I think so. No, you weren't sleeping. You were sedated. Okay? And there's no repair taking place when you're sedated. So don't sedate yourself. That's because you need to get sleep. And I know, listen, do you think I don't know the problem with that? 70% of the population have trouble sleeping. I'm wondering if it's not higher than that. Okay? Anyway, interesting, eh, guys? Find that interesting? I find it interesting. Okay, we got some more studies. Oh, there's one here. I think I'll do it tomorrow. Wow, just amazing to me. This study. Wow. You got to tune in. I'm whetting your appetite for tomorrow's program. Okay? Now listen, we love you guys coming on live. If you can do it, it's always fun with a live audience. Okay? Not that I can see you, but I see, I know you're with me. I got the numbers up top, and it's fun. Okay? It's a lot of fun. For me, it's even more fun. And we appreciate that. But like I tell everyone, tell your friends about the program the doctor is in, because they can listen to it on a podcast. This is turned into Facebook Live, is turned into podcasts, okay? And the doctor's in podcasts. So you can review these studies and do whatever, and you can get people, and millions of people have downloaded the doctor is in. We appreciate that. Okay? We appreciate it. It humbles me. I mean it, guys. It humbles me. You guys humble me in this audience. Like, to think you'd listen to this old goat and take time out of your busy days to do it. I appreciate it. Okay? When you get on to the Doctors In podcast, give us a 5-star review. Okay? If you would, because that helps the algorithm even. Okay? The review on the podcast helps the algorithm, and it's spread to many more people because of the 5-star reviews. We appreciate it. It's your way of showing us love, and we appreciate that. And you guys liking and Facebook, well, Facebook likes it too when you like it. And they spread it. They spread the love. Okay? I don't know how any of it works. What do I know? But it works. Okay. We love you dearly, and we'll talk to you soon.